Constructive criticism versus fearless feedback. I was taught a long time ago, 30 years ago in Toastmasters, the way to give constructive criticism, critiquing, is you start with compliments. You tell somebody what they're doing right, what they're good at. For instance, your eye contact, your body language, the way you project your voice. Those three things are super important when you're having a conversation with an audience, you're making a presentation. For instance, even on Instagram, if you are making a presentation on Instagram or you're doing a reel, you want to look in the camera, you want to have a strong voice, and yes, you actually do have a body language that conveys even on Instagram. This is the same when you are recording a video, for instance, for YouTube. Again, you want to look at the camera, you want to have a good voice control, and you want to have body language that speaks for you, very confident. What you don't want to do is start with criticizing on the negative side. Therefore, when you begin your 2 or 3 compliments, what they do well, what they're doing right, you can go into the critiquing part and simply choose 1 or 2 items. Such as this. It would help if you looked at the camera more. Therefore, remember where the camera is. Don't look at the middle of the screen. You're actually looking at the top of the machine. Also, when you are presenting, whether it's on YouTube or whether it's an IG reel, whatever you're doing, it's much better to stand up. I see so many podcasters sit down and your voice does not convey very well from your chest, which is really where they've centered their energy. You really want your voice to come from your belly. You want to really project. Therefore, when you are critiquing someone, if it's their voice or if it's their body language or if they messed up the sound on a reel, also ask them, did you mean to have the sound on your reel too loud? Before you use all caps, which means you're yelling at somebody. So to reiterate, you're doing constructive criticism. You tell them what they're doing right, their body language, their eye contact, the control of the voice. Then ask them if you misunderstood something about their presentation, their IG reel, their post. Ask them first before you use all caps in a conversation text. Then you politely suggest, if I were you, this is how I would improve my reels. If I were you, this is how I would improve my presentations. You really only want them to work on 1 or 2 things. The reason you want to use constructive criticism and not this new fearless feedback that's going around, because constructive criticism actually makes you and them, you have bonding now, you have rapport, they're going to trust you. You want this person to stay on your team. You want this person to stay in your class. What I understand about fearless feedback, and I have been, I'm going to say the victim, because I was basically yelled at, if you ask me, because a word was put all in caps instead of somebody simply asking me, did you mean to have the sound too loud? Of course, it was a mistake. Of course not. My point is, with the fearless feedback, you're not getting this round, nice, warm, fuzzy feeling. And trust me, none of us are getting enough strokes in our life, meaning compliments, good compliments. So let's do constructive criticism. And for those of you who think this new fearless feedback is the way to go, let me gently suggest to you what's good about fearless feedback. You cut right to the negative. All right, that's not true. Fearless feedback, from what I have experienced, it's quick, it's to the point, you're done with that person. All well and good. I'm simply suggesting these folks who are practicing fearless feedback, try a little softer approach. Because remember, you really want these people to refer other clients to you. You want these people to feel confident, have rapport and bonding. Try this age-old technique that I learned in Toastmasters 30 years ago. It has a nice round component to you. I'm concluding this because we are evacuating for Hurricane Ian. Meditate, meditate, meditate. That it has a westerly wobble. There's going to be so much damage where I live. We just don't need that. I'm hoping everybody has enough wine. There you go. I'm Valerie Hale. I create this podcast once a week to help people create a blueprint for their lifestyle. Merci et au revoir.